Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host.
And my Gail. Kimberly, I have to tell you, this has been a fabulous week out in the Hamptons.
Fabulous?
Fabulous. I have done absolutely nothing but pull weeds because it's been so hot out here. And it's been very sad in a way because you can see summer is ending. The trees are all beginning to look like they're turning red and orange. And I feel like summer is sort of coming to a close. And I always feel sad about that.
I don't know if I feel as connected to the elements of nature as you seem to be, but...
Well, I don't know. You have to just look at the beach and look at the sky out here. It's been beautiful, and people are sort of so happy to be out in the country and spending time outside instead of being in a restaurant. I don't know how New York is. I think New York is probably pretty busy still downtown.
Yeah, the city is busy, and I feel like people are inside and stuff. That said, the restrictions are really changing every day. I'm supposed to take a trip.
I know, it's an exciting
in 2 days, and I guess by the time this episode comes out, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be across the country. So hopefully the COVID's not too bad. I guess I'll just keep my mask on the plane the entire time.
Well, I think you have to. I think that's what they're saying. You keep your mask on, and the air in the planes now they're saying is the best. It's just perfectly fine. So I don't think there's any fear of that. Mm-hmm. So where you're going, you have to just watch out for the smoke. Maybe you're gonna have to wear your mask.
You've done the Napa trip before.
Oh, it's beautiful. We loved it. We went to all the different ones. Actually, the art collections in some of those vineyards are really spectacular.
Interesting.
So you're going to love that. And the whole thing is you have to spit the wine out. Don't drink the wine. Take a sip and spit it into a pail or a cup.
Well,
or
see what everyone
you.
else is doing and then just give in to peer pressure.
No. And also what you should do is you should take a little notebook and write down which wines you really like. So if you make a little study of it because it's really fascinating.
Or I can write it in my phone.
Oh, that's true. Well, I don't know how to do anything in my phone. I can't even turn on the phone lately, and nothing works out here. There's no cell service in the entire Hamptons.
Well, you said your phone was broken and it was just the volume was down.
I can't. I need somebody to help me with my electronics. It's getting worse and worse.
Yeah. So for packing and stuff, I'm pretty much packed. You helped me pick out a lot of the outfits that I will be wearing.
I think you packed your entire closet. Yeah. I think you should eliminate some because it's very casual in California. So I wouldn't take too much stuff.
Yeah, but we got some cute outfits the other day. Shopping with Grandma is always fun.
Yeah, we almost criticized this poor lady who was wearing a dress in the
everyone
room.
In the dressing room found you a hoot because every time I'd come out in an outfit, you'd be like, "You look terrible. I don't even want to see you for another second. Go back and change." Obviously, then some outfits are good where you'll say you look cute, but majority of them was what was your reaction?
Well, Kimberly, you're 5'2", and you've got the cutest little figure, and you were trying on dresses that were meant for people who are 6 feet tall.
Everyone wears these long dresses.
If they're very tall. I mean, you cannot wear a big pattern long dress to the floor. I mean, you could have had a train behind some of those dresses. And the poor lady who was in the dressing room next to us, she looked worse than you looked in that dress.
Oh, so God, I hope she never hears this. I did tell her to listen to the podcast because she was like,
but she didn't buy it. She was a very pretty woman. She
yeah.
did not. She understood that she did not look perfect in that dress.
Well, she stuck her head out of the dressing room and she was like, "I love your grandma's commentary on everything." I was like, "Well, you should listen to our podcast because you'll get it 24/7."
Oh, well, anyway, we had a good time. We had a lovely little sales girl there actually who was starting law school, so we talked to her a bit. She was adorable.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. And
it was ALC. The store.
Are we giving them publicity?
Well, I'm wondering, maybe they want to send us stuff that we can do a little try on.
You looked adorable in their things.
Thank you.
That was cute. And I think they also have a place in Soho.
Yeah, they do.
Sorry, that's going to be a destination shop that we send everybody to. The things were great for anybody, I would say, 50 and under.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm wearing a shirt from them, so they really should.
Oh, yeah, they should sponsor you.
Post this.
Exactly. You looked adorable. Cute.
Okay, let's get into the topics. One conversation is going to be about jealousy, and one conversation is going to be about saying I love you.
All right, so let's start with the jealousy first. Okay. I don't know what you're jealous about, but
have you ever gotten jealous in a relationship?
No, because nobody I ever dated was dating another girl at the same time. So I don't think I was ever jealous about that, I think the only thing I was ever jealous about was the ability for some of my roommates in college to be able to sleep through noise. That was a very big issue of jealousy for me. I had 5 roommates my sophomore year in a sorority, and they all fell asleep while they were talking. To this day, I don't.
But you all slept in the same room?
Yeah, that's how we.
5 girls?
It was a big room.
That's a lot. That's like camp.
Well, we were like camp.
Well, I meant in a relationship, but I will disagree with you and say it doesn't have to be because someone's dating someone at the same time. Often it's exactly the opposite of like, I think a lot of times when you're young in high school and in college, like you get jealous about sometimes people's past before even meeting you. Like you had a girlfriend for 3 years and like,
Oh, I see what you mean.
and I'm jealous. You know what I mean?
Jealous of an old date.
Jealous of an old date.
Right.
Or
Well, I couldn't be jealous of an old date because evidently he wasn't dating her anymore, so who cares? And
That's
how
a
would
good
you know who
mindset.
the old date was?
Well, true. And that's a big generational difference because now all I have to do is go on a guy's Instagram and I can see who his ex-girlfriend was.
See,
'Cause
that's the problem.
he would have posted with her, you know?
That's the big issue with all this stuff on the phones. Here we go again with that because everybody's life is like kept on these sites, and you really know too much about a person's past that might be none of your business. So you know what? I think jealousy could only be about something that you're in a relationship with. If somebody keeps talking, however, about an old date,
Yeah, that's a
that would be an
reason.
issue to be jealous. Then I can understand, something's wrong then with us.
But what about people who get jealous where, like, let's say you're at a party and your boyfriend is talking to another girl and the girl gets jealous? Is that valid?
No, I think then if that is the case, then the man or the woman is too insecure.
Yeah, that's what I was
because
gonna
you're
say.
really at parties now. You're all mature adults, or hopefully you're mature adults. I have no idea. I listened to these conversations lately. I don't think anybody is very mature. But I think that if you're at a dinner party or at a cocktail party, you're supposed to talk to other people.
Sure.
It's socially really bad if you're not. So I think you should talk to other people. However, I think when it comes to, like my mother used to say, you came with one guy, you got to go home with the same guy.
one.
I think there's a way of saying that I'm not
I
saying.
think it's go home with the same guy you came with.
Right, something like that. That's really. I think that's important, and you have to have your priorities if you're, if you like somebody. It's.
But with any emotion, right? Like sometimes you can't think rationally. Like, of course, if you can, in hindsight, think about it like this person loves me or we're in a relationship, I shouldn't be jealous because they're talking to this person. Like a rational person thinks that way. But when your emotions are involved and you see, my boyfriend is texting some girl, even if they're just friends.
Oh, no.
How do you not get
No.
jealous?
That I draw the line. No texting. No. If you are boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
If you are together and you're saying you're a boyfriend and girlfriend, no texting some other woman.
Even if they're just friends.
Or a man. No. There's no such thing as a man being just a friend.
Ooh,
No.
hot take.
That doesn't work for me. If you're at a party and you want to talk to somebody, that's just not being rude. That's fine. But
A lot of people would disagree with you.
I don't care
Like,
if they disagree.
in
They're
my
not in a relationship.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They have terrible relationships.
In my past, I feel like I've definitely been like, please, like, it bothers me. Or I won't even say that. I would be like, so who you texting? And if it's a girl, I'd be like, oh, interesting. Like, I don't know them. Like, if I even made a comment like that, guys get very annoyed.
Well, that's too bad. He shouldn't be texting while he's with you. If somebody can focus on the person and he's texting somebody else, then that guy is not that into you. Here goes that same thing again. He's just not that into you. And move on.
What if it's
quickly,
like a female coworker?
Well, then I don't know. Maybe that's something to do with business then, and maybe it does. If the fellow works, or if you all work together, then it could be work related, and that's different.
Right.
But if somebody is with you clearly for an evening, and you're out for dinner, and somebody's texting another girl, there is troubles in paradise.
You have the right to be annoyed about something like that.
Yeah, I would just say, you know what? I think this is over.
Wow.
That would be the end.
That's
for
really
me.
validating because I've been in those situations where I've made to feel like I'm crazy and jealous because I'm like,
Oh,
why
you're not
you
crazy and jealous. There should be no reason when you're with one person that you text another.
Okay,
so
here's
move
another
on.
question then.
Yeah.
A lot of the times people in relationships, like, you know, on Instagram, of course, like they'll like pictures of their people they follow, right? So let's say like a girl posts a bikini picture. If a guy I'm dating likes the bikini picture, is that do you have the right to be jealous? Is that not okay?
Well, what's he looking at somebody else in a bikini
you
picture
can't-
for?
The thing with Instagram, like you don't really have a choice of what you see.
See, now how would he know? How would you know?
Because
I'm
I can
just curious.
right.
How would you know that he's looking at somebody in a bikini picture if you're with him?
Right.
Unless he's on some.
No, so you can see. I wouldn't know, I guess, if he was looking at one, but if he likes it, you can see on posts
that he pushed a click that he likes it.
Yeah. So,
Well,
like, of
I'm
course,
not too happy with that.
yeah.
I'm not too happy with that. Of course, I have a big
What if it's not a
problem.
bikini picture? What if it's just like a girl, she's smiling at dinner, whatever, and he likes the picture? What message does that send?
That gives the same thing, that he's not that interested in you, that he's still looking for other people.
So he shouldn't be liking people's Instagram posts. And what about, let's do it vice
No.
versa too. Can a girl, so can
It's the same thing. You shouldn't be liking another guy's picture if you're on a date with somebody and you're with them. If you're not with anybody, you can like whoever you like. But if you're with somebody, that to me is just bad relationships. That's something that you're not in a relationship. You're just being childish.
that's so crazy. Like, so
Has
I
this
think-
happened to you recently? If it has,
No,
you have
no.
to-
You don't understand. Like, it's not happened to me recently. Like, it happens to everybody all the time.
Well, I think that's why everybody is so miserable.
Like that doesn't not happen.
Well, you know what? If that goes back to the same thing where nobody is satisfied with their current relationship. They're always looking around the corner.
But what if they're not looking? It's not like a dating app that they're liking it.
No, but they're fantasizing about somebody else
It's
through
not-
a picture on a phone.
it's not fantasizing though. Like, it's just
Well, what is it?
I don't know. Like,
It's a vicarious.
let's say like I posted a picture.
First of all, don't post
sitting
any
in the
bikini pictures
no, okay.
of yourself.
I'm not even saying bikini. Bikini might be a separate category. Maybe that isn't okay. But let's say I'm like a picture of me at Durier's in a dress eating lobster.
Okay,
Whatever.
well, not everybody does.
Okay, so right. So let's say I post that on Instagram. If any guy likes it, I should assume they're interested in me.
I don't think so. Not in the way things are going now, but I think that if you're with somebody on the other side of the table in Duryea and you're looking at your phone, which is firstly a bad thing to begin with, but if you happen to be looking at your phone and see likes come up, I think it's very rude. I think that's rude. First of all, the phone should be off. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be on the table unless you're a doctor and expecting a medical emergency.
Although
from
you
the
can't
patient.
be like that. Of course, I agree with that at a dinner date. Like, please don't be on your phone. But at the same time, it's like, let's say you're hanging out with someone for the whole weekend. They're going to be on their phone.
But it shouldn't be looking at pictures of other people.
No.
If
But you don't
have
a
a business
choice if
No,
you
yes,
open up
do.
Instagram what you see.
Well, but if there is a choice if you click it.
Of course.
So once you've clicked, you've gotten involved. You can look at the picture and say, in your mind, say it's cute. But once you've touched that picture,
So it
you've
doesn't matter
become
though
involved.
it doesn't matter if you're sitting with them or not. It doesn't matter if you're with them or not when they're on Instagram.
All right, but it does matter if you touch your phone and respond to it, correct?
Right. So you're saying the guy shouldn't be DMing, sending a message to
Correct.
girls or anything.
Nobody should be sending a message if you're with somebody.
Of course. That's pretty widely agreed upon. It's more the liking of pictures.
I think this is silly. First of all, it's too many pictures on the internet, too many pictures on your phone, and you can use it for your own sake to take pictures and look at them afterwards.
Yeah.
But this clicking and all that, if you really like somebody, you're not busy clicking somebody else.
Right. So let's say you do get jealous and you really can't like help yourself, but it's like for no valid reason. Let's say I am the girl who at the dinner party he's talking to someone else and I'm not. But
Well, I think you have
and I
to,
got
I
jealous.
think you have to ask somebody for help for that, because I think there are ways of probably dealing with that.
Like, how do you let jealousy not ruin your relationship?
It can. There are definitely people whose relationships are terribly ruined over that.
Right.
Now, if it's a legitimate jealousy, then that has to be dealt with. But if somebody is jealous over somebody just looking pretty and maybe in the same room as somebody else and having eye contact without any conversation, I think they have to get a grip on themselves. They have to learn how to deal with that. It's their own problem, not their partner's
it could be
problem.
carried on from a previous relationship, someone making them feel insecure or whatever.
It could be from their childhood.
Right.
It could be sibling rivalry, and all of a sudden parents gave more attention to one child than the other. That's not a date's responsibility.
Right.
I think what the responsibility of a date or relationship date, if you're really with somebody and like them, is say, listen, so-and-so, I really like you. There is no reason for you to be jealous, but I see that you seem to get irritated over the slightest things, and I think you need to talk to a psychologist or whoever
But
would
who's to
help
say
you.
what is a slight thing and what isn't?
Well, no, I think there are a slight thing is just walking in a room and smiling at somebody. A bad thing is if you went over and kissed somebody on the lips.
Of course.
I mean,
but there's a middle ground. For instance, the texting.
No, the texting is not right. If he's texting someone else when he's, or she's texting someone else when she's with this gentleman, then he has a right to be annoyed.
Okay.
I mean, texting is out when you're in a relationship, unless it's for business or unless it's for some family emergency. I mean,
not
there's
just
no
like,
reason.
hey, how are you doing? If it's
No, do that on your own time, not when you're with somebody else.
No, but what do you mean with?
If you're with somebody,
Like dating someone?
not dating. If you're in the room with them, if you're in your own apartment.
Oh, but what if you're home?
Why? What would be if you're home and you're texting a completely different person? Why
Because
would
you're
you be
friends.
doing this? No, a girl and a guy aren't friends.
I have guy friends from my childhood.
Fine. How much texting do you do with them?
A lot.
Okay.
One of my best friends who you know well
All
is
right.
a guy.
Yeah, all right.
I text him all the time.
Well, that's fine, but you don't do
So-
it when you're on a date.
No.
I mean, if you're at home, you can text them. I mean, there's no reason
So then
not
it is
to.
okay to text people of the opposite sex if they're your friend.
If they're your friends and you're not with a date
In person.
in person.
All
Let's
right.
leave it at that.
Let's move on to the saying I love you topic.
Okay.
How many people have you said it to in your life?
Excluding my children and my grandchildren?
Yes.
Maybe 3.
Okay. And excluding family.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe 3.
Right.
Maybe
Do you
3.
think they were equal every single time, or do you think like when
No.
you were younger you didn't
I-
know, or it was
Well,
a
I
different
was younger
kind of?
always, but I think
Right.
I didn't do it. The only time I did it was during college.
Right.
And it was different relationships at different times. And I thought I was in love all separate times.
Right.
You know?
I think you can fall in love.
Oh, I think you can
many
fall in love many
times.
times. I think even, even after a there isn't
Even
only
after like
one-
the love of your
Right.
life.
There's not only one person for each
Yeah.
for each person. I think if you're lucky and you can be with one
You
person
find one.
forever, it's lovely. But there's always a second chance and a third chance, and sometimes a fourth chance for love.
So,
I think the most important thing is that you're faithful to the person you're with when you're with them. So
Yeah.
actually, it is a stage of commitment, no matter at what age. You could be 18 and say, I'm in love, and be honest and really think you are in love. But it might not be the lasting love.
but what about like when you think, I mean, it can't be love, right? Like, let's say you meet somebody and you like have a crush and you're like, I love them. That can't
Well,
really,
that's not the same.
same.
No. I think love takes time.
Yeah.
I don't think the first date, you could say you have a crush. I used to have a crush on a million people.
Right.
You
But
like.
you know how sometimes in the back of your head you're like, I love this person, but like maybe it's infatuation, maybe it's whatever it is. But like, do you ever like in the back, or did you ever
Well,
like?
I think what happened to me was that, yes, I love you, but could I live with you?
Yeah.
That becomes another issue as you get older. When you're a little younger, you can love somebody and it can be fine. And you go through your dates and your relationship and have fun together. As you progress in your life, love takes on a little deeper meaning
Right.
in the sense that you're making a commitment to somebody for a long-term period. I don't think at 18 it's the same as when you're 25 or 30.
Yeah. So do you think it matters if the guy says it first or the girl says it first?
I don't think it matters at all.
Really?
I don't think it matters
A lot of
at
people
all.
will say the guy has to say it
Yeah, well, that was
first.
back to the lady with the rules.
Right.
I think by the time you're at that stage, one of you probably is more in love than the other, and you can look at it and say, "Yeah, I love you too," or you can say, "Nope, I'm not there yet."
Right.
And
Do you think a lot of people lie? Like if someone says it and then they don't want to they think oh, well, I eventually will, so I might as well say it back now.
no, I don't think you should say "I love you" back so quickly. I think that. First of all, I think it hurts somebody's feeling in the long run.
Right.
So I think
then
you
how
have
do
to
you-
be honest about it.
Don't you think you should wait to say it until you are 100% sure the person will say it back? Otherwise, it's just
No,
awkward.
I don't. First of all, most people have relationships over a period of time, so they know where it's going.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
no
not
one says
on
"I love
this
you"
first
after 2
date
weeks.
or two. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say, "Oh God, I really am crazy about this guy."
Right.
But it's not necessarily love or long-term love.
Or you can say on The Bachelor, they always say "I'm falling for you" or "I'm falling in love with you," and that's not this. They claim.
Oh well, they
it's
are
not
such
this,
liars. Those bachelors.
but they say it's not the same as saying "I love you."
They don't know how to be in love. First of all, love is a lot of different things. Love is taking care of somebody when they don't feel well. Love is taking care of
Right.
A sharing. Love is probably learning things together and teaching different things about one another. Love is many facets. It's not on television over a drink and doing ridiculous things. I think that's just reality TV. That's not reality.
Yeah,
that's
but,
not
okay,
really real.
Fair, but when people say "I'm falling for you," whatever,
right.
does that mean the same thing as "I love you"?
Well, it's sort of leading up to it.
Yeah, so it's
Sort
just
of leading
It's
up
like
to
saying
it.
I'm exclusive before I'm in a
but-
relationship,
which I still don't get, but we're gonna have to
right.
discuss that.
It's
a
like
little later.
it's a middle step.
Right. I think that probably is correct.
So do you want to move on to some listener questions?
Sure.
Okay, we have a few here. Is it important to be giving to your partner without expecting anything in return? For example, planning a special date for them out of the blue.
Well, I think it's nice. I think that's a nice thing to do. And nobody should do something for what the result is going to be from
Right.
the other person. I think it's more of your giving, and hopefully it's
Because
well
you want
received.
to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's well received. And I think there's a give and take in a relationship. However, if the person it's not well received and they don't really like what the gift was,
But then there's no harm, no foul, because
I think we discussed this with Case, that sometimes a gift is not the same gift that you would like.
oh yeah, the love languages.
love language.
If
So
gifting, if
Right.
if gifts is one of your love languages,
Right.
it means that let's say. If it's your love language, that it means that that's the way you like to receive love, but maybe your partner doesn't like to receive
Correct.
love that
same
way by
Right.
being given gifts.
Right. Or it might be not the gift that you would like to receive.
Right.
Some people
Yeah.
want to receive chocolate when you're giving them a book.
Sure.
So you have to, I think a lot of this is communication. And I think a relationship that is good will talk to each other. And that's the first stage of almost like right after the beginning of dating. Then the next stage is talking, and talking about what you expect in life. Not necessarily only relationships, but what you're expecting in the future, how you want to raise a family, how you want to live your life, if you want to, if you want to give back to humanity on some level, and see where the other person is. You need commonality of purpose.
Yeah.
And that comes about through talking, and I think that's very important. Before even the big love word. The love word can be right down at the end of the page, but I think there's a lot of stuff that comes before you say I love you.
Okay, here's another question. What happens if he or she doesn't want to sleep over and share a bed?
Well, if they don't want to sleep over and share a bed,
I know a lot of time people will say, I mean, I do this all the time. First of all, we did a sleepovers episode. Sleepovers are the
Right.
worst.
Well, they're not the worst if you really love somebody.
No,
'cause then
no.
you snuggle at the end and you
Okay,
are
sure,
happy.
sure. There's definitely, of course, I'm exaggerating. There are redeeming qualities of a sleepover, but it's just like you're tired the night. Like nobody likes the part where you're actually trying to sleep, and like the other person may snore. They're in your personal space. Like you have to wake up in the morning and like deal with it. Whatever.
That's relationships. That's a relationship.
Okay, but I think a lot of people, or there are some people out there who may be agreeing with me, or like, if you have to work the next day, you might be really tired.
That's tough. That's tough. That's living with somebody and learning how to live with their habits, and they have to live with your
So
habits.
if your partner is like that, give advice to what like someone can say to them. Like if like for
I can't give advice. If you don't feel like sleeping over, then you really aren't in it for the long haul.
No, so from the other perspective then of the person whose boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't want to sleep over,
I think they would be hurt.
what should they say or do?
I don't know. I wouldn't know because, first of all, I never had a sleepover, so I don't have any idea.
You have a sleepover every night.
Well, but I've been living that sleepover for 58 years.
Yeah.
I didn't have a sleepover before I got married. Once I had the ring, you're sleeping over. So how do you transfer this kind of conversation into a relationship? If you're not happy on a date sleeping over that you're committed to, I'm not saying you should sleep over with the first guy you
No,
meet.
but it's your
You're in a
let's say it's your
boyfriend.
your boyfriend
And if
or
you're-
girlfriend.
Exactly. So you're talking about a relationship kind of sleepover.
Yeah,
I
because
think
you don't live together, right?
Right.
So.
I think you have to enjoy it, whether it be on the weekends. So that could be the compromise.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it during the week when you have different work schedules, but you should on the weekends enjoy the intimacy of being together.
Yeah.
If you don't, then there's going to be a problem.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, if you feel like it's an important factor for you, like, I would just then say to the guy or girl that you're dating, I understand, like, if it interferes with your sleep schedule or whatever his or her excuse is, but like, it's important to me, so hopefully we can do it like 1 to 2 times a week. And if they're still saying no,
then I think that you have to say goodbye.
yeah, probably. Okay, next question. Is it normal to get bored in a relationship after a year?
No, not after a year.
It's not
Not
normal?
after a year.
What about like a little bit like, okay, it's not the initial sparks anymore,
Well,
like
sparks are in the beginning. Sparks are always there. If they're not there, then you shouldn't stay in the relationship. It doesn't have to be the same kind of sparks. You don't have to be on fire.
Yeah.
But you should look forward to seeing that person. And you should look forward to the evening or the event or the lunch or the day on the beach together. It has to be that you're looking forward to it. I don't think relationships stay on the same level. And it changes with the amount of work you have. It changes if you end up getting married and having children. Those same things are a different level. You sometimes, you're bored with one conversation because you're living a whole other life, and you would like to go back maybe to the conversation when you were dating, but it's very hard at that point. You have other responsibilities. So I think what life together is growing together, and why so many people today face the problem of divorce and unhappiness is because they don't know how to compromise. And life is a constant compromise, whether you're dating or whether you're married or in just a long-term relationship. And if you don't compromise, it's never going to work.
okay, here's another one that's kind of funny. Why does he think it's okay to pee with the door open, and should it bother me so much?
Well, I don't know I think you could close the door.
Like, why have the door open? I agree.
I don't know. Sometimes, I mean,
There's a level. I mean, if they're pooping in front of you, that's messed up. But like peeing, I don't know.
I don't know. I think everybody needs a little bit of privacy.
Yeah.
So
But I think guys,
I would just say
sometimes they don't
close
even think
well, they
about
don't
it.
think about it
Yeah.
because at the slightest touch of a hand, they could do it.
Right.
So they don't have a problem with that. But I think just for a point of view when you're dating,
Yeah.
and you're together, perhaps either in your apartment or on a vacation, I think the door could be closed.
Yeah.
Not
So
bad.
like,
it's a little bit of modesty that wouldn't be so terrible.
yeah, I agree. Last one, breadcrumbing.
What is that?
So breadcrumbing is basically like when someone who breadcrumbs is someone who leads you on by occasionally showing some sort of interest.
Oh, right.
So they're
the
basically
big tease. The
yeah,
big tease.
it's not exactly teasing, but it's usually someone who doesn't really know what they want,
Right.
but they want to keep you around on the back burner. So
Right.
like they won't really text you every day, but then once in a blue moon call you and ask for a date.
right.
I've clearly dealt with this before.
Right.
You've been firsthand. How the question is how to deal with someone who's breadcrumbing you.
I think you have to say goodbye and say, you know what? When you grow up, you can give me a call.
That's what you would text somebody.
Absolutely.
Hey, stop reaching out to me intermittently. So when you grow up, give me a call.
Yes.
Maybe in a nicer way.
Well, that's not no. When you grow up, they're too immature.
Yeah.
And either you want to go out or you don't want to go out. And if you don't want to go out, what's the point of constantly texting? It's almost like they don't know what they want. They're
Yeah.
very, very childish. And at a certain point, when you get to a certain age, you don't want to deal with that. It's just not worth the energy.
But sometimes do you think it could be you don't know the difference between someone who's breadcrumbing you and perhaps someone who clearly they're interested in some capacity, right? If they keep
might
reaching
like
out to you
as a person, and they might, but they don't really want a relationship.
Right, so it
you know
depends.
what?
You have to look inward. Like, do you want a relationship? Because if
Right.
you do, this isn't
Exactly.
your person.
If it's just a person that you sort of think is nice,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that, you say, it's good if I have nothing to do, and he has nothing to do, we'll go to a movie, or well, now we're
Yeah.
not going to movies anymore, but whatever we do normally. But I wouldn't base any kind of hope of ever
Yeah.
really having
and it's
a
really
meaningful-
hard. It's all the breadcrumbing is hard because like you have a little bit of hope and a little bit of faith when someone gives it to you, but it's really
No, it's a hurtful
it's
situation.
really, really hurtful.
Especially when one person likes more, when one person isn't breadcrumbing,
Of
I
course,
guess.
yeah.
I would actually, if somebody I knew was doing that, I would have to say, you know what, this is not for me. You when you grow up, and I don't think that's so rude.
Yeah.
When you grow up, you can text me.
Well, I would frame it more as I'm looking for something a little bit more consistent and for a relationship, which seems like we're on different pages. But if you change your mind, like let me know.
Okay,
that's
what
more
you're being-
how I would.
Well, you're
say
much
it.
nicer than me. I wouldn't be so nice.
Yeah. Okay. So
It actually goes back to the same thing with the long dress. You either look terrible or
Right.
you look good.
Yeah.
See, my personality
You're
is
more
you look-
black and white.
Right. That's it. It's no good. So that's the same thing with the breadcrumbing. It's no good.
yeah. So we're gonna do a new segment.
Oh, what is that, Kim?
Tell me what you think about it. I was thinking, and we could do a spotlight on each episode or every few episodes of a single person, either in New York or LA or wherever our listens are, who want people to reach out to them, and a lot of my grandparents, my grandma's friends, and your friends. They're listening and maybe they want to set their grandson or granddaughter up with someone and they might hear of someone interesting on here and then they could let us know and then we could give them their contact information.
Can we do that?
Well,
Are we a dating service?
we can do whatever we want.
All right.
This is excuse my grandma.
All right, Kim. All right.
So of course we wouldn't use people without their permission
Well,
for wanting
that's-
to
we
be
have-
on here.
Okay, Kimmy, I sort of like that idea. That's fun. All right. You have a really great girlfriend that is smart and has done some great work in politics recently. So you give some information.
Yeah, she is 25 years old. She is brunette, blue-eyed.
Pretty.
Very pretty, very smart, nice girl. Grew up in New York City and is currently living there too. So looking for someone in New York City.
And if you're interested or have a grandson that might be interested living in New York that you think might go with somebody who likes politics,
Politics, but I will say it has to be on the liberal side of things.
well, don't say that.
No, knowing my friend.
Oh, all right.
Because this
Okay.
is a specific setup that is a non-negotiable.
All right. So if anybody is leaning to the left,
Yes.
you can give us a call if you have a grandson.
So
that
send
might
us
be
a message
interesting.
on Instagram at excuse my grandma and we can give you her contact info after running your name by her and seeing if she's interested as well.
Okay, that sounds like a fun thing, Kim.
Thanks. So let's do our 50s movie of the week.
What do you have in store, Kim?
The Tender Trap, 1955.
Very good. I was 15.
Oh, yeah?
I remember this movie.
I watched this the other day. Frank Sinatra.
Oh, it was such a. Who was the lead? Was it Doris Day again?
Debbie Reynolds.
Oh, Debbie Reynolds.
My
She was
favorite.
so cute. Right.
So cute. And basically, he was a bachelor who had different women going in and out of his apartment all the time. She just gets pretty jealous with all the women in his life, which goes with our topic of the week, which was jealousy. So that's called The Tender Trap.
Enjoy.
Another great episode of Excuse My Grandma. You know how to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Excuse My Grandma. Subscribe wherever you are listening. It helps us get more listeners. We want to continue to do these episodes for you all. And if you have any questions for us, you can also email us questions@excusemygrandma.com or send us a message on Instagram.